What's up, y'all, and welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network, the best sports network for all your Philadelphia needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. Okay, so when I was originally writing this episode, the primary focus was going to be what I saw out of the Combine and some players that I liked and thought could be a good fit for the Eagles. We will still talk about that. However, so much has happened in Eagles news with roster changes and contract extensions that I just have to go a little more in depth with those subjects. So let's not waste any more time and we'll dive right into my review of the Combine. The 2025 Combine has come and gone, and for who we saw, they put on a show. Obviously, there were a lot of top guys like Edges Abdul Carter or Michael Williams, defensive tackle Mason Graham, and more who did not perform either due to ailing injuries or just waiting for their collegiate pro days to perform. But there were still a lot of awesome performances that occurred over these 4 days. If you tuned in to my last episode, you'll know that I mentioned that I personally believe positions like edge, defensive line, and interior linebackers were positions of priority for the Eagles. I also think we could use depth at safety, but I stuck with those 3 defensive positions as my primary focus. So I'll just briefly go over a couple of guys per position group that I liked. This is not all of them, but these are just a couple of guys that I thought were noteworthy and worth doing a little bit more research on for those wanting to explore potential draft picks before April. So starting with the interior linebackers, I have 2 guys for that, and the first one was Jihad Campbell. No surprise here. He ran a 4.5 40-yard dash, and as one of the top interior linebacker prospects from the Combine, he did not disappoint. He had a tremendous drill in the shuffle, sprint, change of direction drill. He was fast as fuck at making those hard, quick movements and directional changes. He definitely proved why he's one of the better guys in his class. Now, the second guy, this guy caught me by surprise. This is a guy out of Oklahoma State named Nick Martin. And the first thing I noticed about this dude, he is an absolute fucking unit. Like, I think this dude's body fat index is probably like -2. And he's out here running a 4.5 40-yard dash. I felt bad for the second bag holder in the pass rush drill because he just got bonked with that hit from Martin. I liked Nick Martin's speed. He was very agile, and again, you can't coach that type of size, and Martin's got the physique needed to be an NFL linebacker. Both him and Campbell had good backpedal / reaction drills. Both have killer reaction times, and I'd be happy for one or both of these guys to be on the Eagles. Other notable guys that I'll quickly mention that I liked were Danny Stutzman and Jack Kaiser. Moving on to notable D linemen, the first guy I had on here is Ty Robinson. Now, he had the fastest 40-yard time for his position at 4.83 seconds, with about a 33.5 vertical jump and a 10-foot broad jump. What I liked about Robinson was just mainly his pure athleticism. A 10-foot broad jump going along with his incredible speed, and apparently out of over 1,830 defensive tackles in the Combine since 1987, he ranks 30th overall. That's just pretty crazy. If you're going back like nearly almost 40 years and to be 30th overall in your position group, that's pretty impressive. I think any team would be lucky to have this guy. The next guy, who may not come as a surprise if you did tune into my last episode, was Toledo's Darius Alexander. At 6'4" and 305 pounds, he ran a 4.95 40-yard dash, which is pretty good considering his size. That's like some Jordan Davis speed, if you will. He's got great size, but he's also got pretty good strength. He put up nearly 30 reps at the 225-pound bench press, and he was looking dominant on the bag and the pass rush drills. Speed and agility were also a plus with a sub 5-second shuttle run and a sub 10-second cone drill. Now, according to Sports Illustrated, Alexander's draft stock rose significantly, and he has been projected to go as early as pick number 26 overall. Now, if you remember from last week's episode, I had mentioned that his pre-combine overall draft ranking was around 45th overall. So that is a huge jump for him. Again, huge performance from another Toledo standout, and who knows? Maybe he gets a reunion with Quinyon Mitchell and the Eagles. And finally, my top notable edge rushers, with the first one being out of Arkansas, and that was Landon Jackson. He had a 4.68 40-yard dash, a 40.5-inch vertical, and nearly 11 feet on the broad jump. Jackson, he definitely caught a lot of eyes. And at 6'6", that alone is not surprising. He's very quick, he's agile. In his college highlights, he's shown that he's got great instincts and powers all the way through the end, even when he's double team blocked. And he's got hands, which is a bonus. At the combine, there was like an announcer or two who said he had similarities to a tight end. So could that be a positional switch for him in the pros? Unlikely, but you never know what could happen. I definitely liked what I saw out of Landon Jackson. And finally, this also should not come as a surprise because I talked about him last week. I thought James Pierce Jr. knocked it out of the park. Dude is fucking fast. A 4.47 40-yard dash. That was faster than Jalen Hurts and I think AJ Brown when they did their combines. Just put that into perspective. At 6'5", that's nuts. I loved him in the 4 bags drill. That's, where you're going to go in between the bags and then you're stepping back and forth between the bags as well. He did not miss a single beat. His ability to move quickly from the side step to the in-between bag stepping without hitting any of the bags or stumbling shows he's got quick directional change, which is crucial in avoiding getting sucked into trick plays on the offense or slipping on those hard cuts from a running back. He was a little too quick and eager on the run, the loop drill, however. It's just one mistake. I'm not going to be overcritical on it, especially since he ran it quickly, smoothly, and his reach allowed him to not have to get super low to the ground to make those dips and grab the towels. A lot of mock drafts have us getting him at 32nd overall, and depending on how this free agency goes, he could be an asset that we end up drafting at the edge position. All right, y'all, let's go into this Eagles news because there is a fuck ton to talk about. Free agency is still nearly a week away, and yet the Eagles have been making some significant roster moves that have shocked the NFL world. But before I get into this, there is, for some fucking reason, a lot of talk about AJ Brown and the New England Patriots. Where do these bullshit rumors come from? Honestly, probably Philly media, again. But why are we doing this to AJ Brown a second time? It wasn't even 2 years ago where I feel like we were in this situation talking about trading AJ Brown. Can people just shut the fuck up about this? Homie is under our contract until 2029. Yeah, that's at least 4 years away. He's not going anywhere. He's not. He even mentioned it to himself in, I think when he extended, he planned on retiring as an Eagle. The Eagles aren't fucking dumb enough to trade off their top wide receiver 4 seasons before the end of his contract and just after he won a Super Bowl. He has been nothing but successful for the Birds. I don't give a fuck if he is reading a book on the sidelines. It could be a fucking Harry Potter book for all I care. I do not give a shit about the drama that these random analysts and Nick Wright and Philly media, for whatever reason, trying to start some drama. He's not going anywhere. So can we please just drop this ridiculous notion? Because that's all that it is. Let the man read his self-help book and get another Super Bowl ring with the Eagles in peace. God damn. But anyway, let's dive into these crazy roster moves, starting with the first domino to fall, which was on Monday, where the Eagles released All-Pro corner Darius Slay. The Eagles will designate him as a post-June 1st cut, which ends up saving around $4.3 million in cap space. Now, it is possible the Eagles could have Slay return on a 1-year deal at a lower rate. Slay has mentioned that he's got at least 1 more year left in him and would like to remain in Philly. However, he has also expressed interest in possibly playing his last year back in Detroit. Even though Slay's only played 4 years in Philly, he's already one of the best corners in team history, achieving career highs in various stats such as pass coverage rate, yards allowed in coverage, and completion percentage. Even at 34 years old, Slay proved to a lot of people that he still got it and is very much a sought-after corner. Many teams, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, Atlanta Falcons, Seattle Seahawks, and Houston Texans, could be potential landing spots for Slay, but hopefully for myself and all of us Eagles fans, that the Eagles are able to somehow retain Slay that is financially beneficial for the team, but it's also fair to him. On one hand, if this is Slay's final year, he could be seeking a massive payday to set him up for retirement and his overall future. On the other hand, he might be willing to stick with a team that has a very high chance of going back to and winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles. In the meantime, though, if this is the last time we see him in an Eagles uniform, I just want to say thanks for all that you've done for the team and congrats on achieving a Super Bowl ring as well. In other Eagles news, in addition to Slay's release, the Eagles have released another veteran cornerback, that in James Bradberry. Bradberry had spent the entire year on injury reserve after suffering an Achilles injury during the final week of camp. His 2023 campaign was, I'll be honest, less than stellar, leaving fans wondering what the fuck happened to the James Bradberry that we saw in 2022, his first season with the team. Even though Bradberry was to enter the final year of his 3-year, $38 million deal, designating him as a post-June 1st cut would save the Birds just over $4.7 million in cap space. Right now, I think it'd be like a $2.1 million saving or something like that. Anyway, Bradberry joined the Eagles after spending 2 seasons with the New York Giants. Bradberry's numbers diminished in areas such as total interceptions, tackles, and pass deflections. He had a stellar 2022 season, including 3 interceptions, with one of them for a touchdown. However, he's more well known to Eagles fans for his controversial holding call in Super Bowl 57 that would lead to the Chiefs kicking the game-winning field goal. After that 2023 season and then, not playing the entire 2024 season thing, I'm not surprised, nor am I really upset by this move. I'm thankful for Bradberry's 2022 season, don't get me wrong, because he helped us get to a Super Bowl. You can't, argue against that. However, it seems that Bradberry was a one-hit wonder for the Eagles. And, it happens. It happens. Not only will this free up cap space, but it allows other corners such as Keely Ringo, Cooper DeJean, and possibly even Isaiah Rodgers to continue to develop and flourish under a Fangio system, while allowing Howie the possibility to continue this defensive revamp that he's got going on by potentially drafting another high-caliber corner to keep our defense young and elite. But to James Bradberry, I am thankful for the contributions that he has made to the team, and good luck to wherever you end up next. Tuesday of this week, Eagle star running back Saquon Barkley landed a contract extension after only 1 year into his original 3-year, $37.75 million deal with the Eagles. The extension calls for 2 years and over $41 million, making him not only the highest paid running back in NFL history, but also the first running back in NFL history to earn an average of $20 million or more dollars a year. Now, I only have really one mixed feeling, if you will, about this signing, and that is my mentality on extensions and contracts after 1 good year. We saw Bryce Huff have 1 good year, get a major contract for the Eagles, and he's been pretty subpar for us so far. That's just one of many examples that we've seen across the league. However, Barkley is the exception because the dude had a literal historic year. Over 2,500 rushing yards in the regular and postseason, a new NFL record, amongst nearly a dozen or so other franchise and league records he's broken in just this 1 year with the Eagles. Saquon just reset the running back market. Before the season, there were a lot of questions across the league about the value of running backs, which honestly seemed to be viewed pretty low. However, Saquon Barkley and the Eagles proved to the rest of the league how important it is not only to have an elite running back, but to pay your elite running back as well. I think of this move similarly to how Howie Roseman got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, their contracts right before the wide receiver market got absolutely crazy as it is now. We haven't seen a $20 million running back before, and we may have just set the tone not only for running backs in general, but for us as a team. We're in early in what could be another positional market explosion, and we've essentially locked in most of, if not nearly our entire elite offense through the 2028 season. This is a move that I like. And plus, it somehow saves the Eagles nearly $8 million in cap space going into the 2025 season because thanks to this extension, Barkley's cap hit for 2025 goes from $13.5 million to just $6.5 million. A masterclass move by Howie for a player who's exceptional both on and off the field. From backwards hurdles to lifting ball boys at the Super Bowl parade into the crowd, Barkley is here to stay, and I am here for it. And finally, the latest roster move so far came Wednesday afternoon as the Eagles are re-signing linebacker Zach Bond to a 3-year, $51 million deal. If those numbers sound familiar, it's because they are. It was the exact same deal the Eagles made with edge rusher Bryce Huff at the beginning of last season after acquiring him from the Jets in free agency. Like I mentioned with Saquon, I'm kind of apprehensive with big extensions after one solid year. The difference, though, with this one between Zach Bond and Bryce Huff, for example, was that Bond's great one-year performance was already with us, while Huff's was with New York. There's not going to be any growing pains or adjustments to a new defensive scheme for Zach Bond moving into this contract like there was for Bryce Huff. Huff missed 5 games due to injury and inactiveness, only producing 2.5 sacks, 13 total tackles, and 1 forced fumble. Additionally, he was inactive for the Super Bowl. Many analysts are considering Huff to be a bit of a bust. But back to Zach Bond. This is the signing I think Eagles fans have been wanting the most for a few reasons. One of them being the obvious, which is that Zach Bond balled the fuck out with us, y'all. Between the regular and the postseason, Bond racked up 184 total tackles, 3.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 3 interceptions. Fucking amazing ass numbers. He quite literally was the best interior linebacker in the league this past season, and it ain't even a fucking question, y'all. Reason number 2, I think fans wanted this the most, is because Howie broke from tradition and seems to finally understand the importance of interior linebackers, or at least paying for good ones. To long-tenured Eagles fans, it is well known that Howie Roseman had a history of not valuing and not paying interior linebackers. We saw what happened after the Eagles refused to pay TJ Edwards a couple of years ago and replaced him with underperforming guys such as Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow, or guys that wouldn't even see the field in an Eagles uniform such as Miles Jack and Devin White. Early in Roseman's GM career, he was making very questionable, and I'll be even honest, more like outright dumb decisions, such as taking Jalen Reagor when Justin Jefferson was available, or taking J.J. Arcega-Whiteside when DK Metcalf was still available. This Bond signing is not only smart, but it continues to provide evidence of growth in Howie's career and this philosophy shift that has benefited the Eagles and obviously has gotten us to a Super Bowl championship. Plus, even with an average yearly salary of $17 million, that is still less than guys like Roquan Smith and Fred Warner. Now, I love this signing. I wanted this signing way sooner than before that the season was over, and I'm glad we finally got it, especially before free agency, before other teams could try to poach him off of us. So that was another smart move by Howie. Another reason I believe Eagles fans love this signing, because like our offense, our defense becomes even more solidified and consistent in the long run. Zach Bond will join Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith as defenders locked down through 2027, with Quinyon Mitchell being locked in through 2028 and CJ Garner-Johnson locked in through 2026. Having a defense that is not only extremely talented, but one that will be with each other for a while and already knows how each other operate is a deadly combination for the rest of the league. I can't wait to see what Bond has to offer over these next few years. So, what do all these signings mean for other situations? Will the Eagles actually attempt to pursue Myles Garrett? Have we seen the last of guys such as Josh Sweat, Kenneth Gainwell, or Milton Williams? Will Bryce Huff see an early exit from the Bird? Spoiler alert to that question, highly unlikely. But these questions and a lot more still linger as we get closer and closer to the official free agency period. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow us on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at Second and 15. That's 2NDAND15. Or by the full name, Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode, Second and 15, and Old City Sports Network are sponsored by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Head on over to righteousfelon.com and use our promo code OCSN for 15% off the best jerky around. With flavors like Darth Garlic, Soul Survivor, OG Hickory, one of the best and more healthy alternative beef jerky options out there. Any orders over $50 will get free shipping. We're also brought to you by Warlord Beard Oil. Use our promo code OLDSPORTS at warlordbeardoil.com for 15% off your beard oils, washes, soaps, and many other products for all of your beard care needs. Orders over $75 will also receive free shipping. Second and 15 and Old City Sports Network are also brought to you by SeatGeek. Download the app and use our promo code Old City Sports Network, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase. We got some local sponsors, including Robert Hangholt Construction. If you're in the greater Philadelphia region and need some work done with your roof, your windows, your siding, or whatever you need, call the #1 contractor in the area at 610-348-1066 to get a free estimate on your next home project today. We also have Decals by Aaron. For all your Delco products and merchandise, your #1 spot for everything Delco, check out decalsbyaaron.com today or Decals by Aaron on social media. Finally, we have Iron and Steel Threads. Head on over to ironsteelthreads.com and use promo code OldCity10 for 10% off the entire website. A portion of the proceeds will go to youth hockey organizations. And don't forget to check out oldcitysportsnetwork.com and click our merchandise tab to find some awesome gear from Second and 15 and other OCSN shows. All the promo code information and websites will be in this episode description. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network. We'll see y'all next week, where we'll look at more moves during and leading up to free agency, where legal tampering will start Monday, March 10th, with the official free agency period beginning on March 12th. See y'all then. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!